going live. Good evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel. Thank you for coming back. If you're new here, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, we're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. Yesterday, the support on the stream was unbelievable. We racked up over 100 new subscribers yesterday. Massively appreciate that from the people on TikTok as well. The link is in my bio on TikTok. If you want to head over and subscribe, we're about 200 subscribers away from 2,000. Smash a like on the YouTube video as well, and we will shortly commence a what's it called? A dissection of where it all went wrong for Arsenal yesterday, and it really did go wrong quite spectacularly. We bottled it big time, says Rams. Ryan Mason also says bottled it big time. You focus on the Spurs job, Ryan. Joe Madaford, second, Wagwan. I just want to forget about the game, to be honest. Yeah, same. But, you know, we've got to talk about it. Where do you even start? City outplayed us. They did. Look, the first place you've got to start is that City were exceptional. Pep nailed the tactics. They changed their system. They played a system that they've rarely, if ever, played this season, having 2 6s in the form of Rodri and Gundogan. They played a normal back four, Akanji at left back, Walker at right back, and it worked perfectly. It did work perfectly. Pep surprised us. No one expected them to set up like that. Yeah, that's the thing. But the thing that annoyed me is that whilst no one expected them to set up like that, the whole world expected Arsenal to set up the way that we did, which just makes it 10 times easier for Man City going into it. Reece Nelson 100% deserves to start against Chelsea. Yeah, Reece Nelson needs more game time, and he needs to be given a new contract. Every time he comes on this season, he makes an impact. And that's not easy to do when you're not getting much game time either. It's really not easy to do. But look, we'll Trossard should start over Jesus till the end of the season. Possibly. I think we should change quite a few things around now. I mean, for me, I know beat Chelsea for the pride, but other than that, we're going to finish second regardless. So it almost doesn't matter at this point. You know, what lineups we set up with, and I'd almost rather, you know, some of the players look so tired. I mean, Bukayo Saka's looked tired since the final international break, and again he did last night. So it's tricky, it's sad. This is what Arteta had to say on the performance. He said the analysis is clear. The better team won. They were probably at their best, especially in the first half, and we were nowhere near our level. When that happens, the gap becomes too big, and in the first 30 minutes, we didn't do all the basic things that you have to do against an exceptional team in terms of competing, winning duels, and understanding what the game requires. We got punished, and we could have been punished even more. He was asked about Opta suggesting Man City have a 92% chance of winning the league. He said that the stats said at the start of the season that Arsenal were going to finish 6th or 7th. We are where we are with 5 games to go. Those players deserve a lot of credit. There are still 5 games to play. I've been in this country for nearly 22 years and I've seen a lot of things. I know how much it shifts from game to game. I would love to have the optimism. To think we could still somehow win the league, that somehow Man City could throw it away. But even where they are now, you know, Man City would have to draw and lose within their final 7 games, and we would have to win all 5 of ours. I just don't see that happening. Ibrahim said, we need a big striker, like a big one that can pressure the goalkeeper. I agree. I said this on, I was on Boovy's channel today, and I said it on AFTV last night. We need a different profile striker as an option for certain games. And I said when I said that I wanted Jesus to start because he could hold the ball up from going long. I mean, in the end, he didn't do that at all. But, you know, City had that outlet in Haaland and it massively cost us. You know, the first goal, we pressed them into their own corner flag and 6 touches later, they've scored because they can go long. The second goal, we can't get out from the press. We can't go long because we know we'll lose the ball. So we're trying to play out. We lose the ball. Partey commits a foul. Second goal. Third goal, same thing. Ødegaard loses the ball. Goal. I mean, the third one really did wind me up though. Every time I every time I watch back the replay of the third one, it looks like Thomas Partey's running even slower. But he just if he sprints or shows any sort of intensity to get back, he covers the passing lane where Haaland feeds De Bruyne. I do not understand for the life of me why Partey just jogs. It's not like he shouldn't be tired at that point of the game. It was really poor, really poor. Can you explain to me why Partey jogged back? No, Connor, I can't. I don't think it was offside, Rams. The second goal, I think the first camera angle makes it look like it's comfortably offside. But Ben White's foot was playing him on. And look, by the way, that's really poor from Ben White because everyone else held the line, and if Ben White had held the line with them, John Stones would have been well offside. So um, Ben White was pushed. Yeah, but he's got to stand his ground. You got to be stronger. You can't be pushed. You know, you can't be pushed. Jorginho to start, Nelson starts, Trossard starts, Kivior starts, and Tierney starts. I don't disagree. I thought, half time. Where were the substitutions? Where were the substitutions? We were getting battered. I love Arteta. I love the process, and I fully back him. But there had to be subs at half time. Playing for another 10 minutes at the start of the second half, thinking that somehow something was going to change, ridiculous. Kivior should have come on at half time. Trossard should have come on for Xhaka at half time. It was just poor. It was just poor all round. The players, the manager, it was just a really, really bad day. And to have that bad a day on what was such an important day, it's the biggest game since 2006, and we were pathetic. I hate to say it, we were pathetic. Remember the name Ibrahim? I'm going to be trying my best to become an Arsenal legend. Well, I will. I hope that you do. I hope you do. Don't forget me if you do become an Arsenal legend. There actually could be a chance we lose to Chelsea if they're going to win. Chelsea are one of the only teams in the league that are performing even worse than us. So, and look, with Arteta, you got to. Arteta is still in his first managerial job. He is learning things as he goes, and we do have to be patient with that, and that's fine. A lot of the players are in the same position. He was asked on if the only way any other team can win the title is if Man City have an off year. He said, I don't know the answer to that. We've been here for 9.5 months. We lost today, and we have to accept that we lost in a very different way at the Emirates. Today, the quality of the performance was from one team was very far in front of the other. And I do think, at what point do we start talking about the Premier League becoming a bit of a farmers' league? This is going to be Man City's 5th title in 6 years. And realistically, there's only ever one team that even comes close to pushing them. If Arsenal had performed the way that everyone thought we were going to perform this season, City would have had the league wrapped up in January. So there is we almost sneer at foreign leagues for being farmers' leagues with PSG and Bayern Munich, but the Premier League's in danger of going the same way. Because even if we'd played at our best last night, the way that Man City played, they'd have killed us. We should not talk about Chelsea right now. We should not downfall anyone. We should focus on ourselves. I don't disagree. We're going to get absolutely embarrassed in the Champions League next year. I don't think we will. I don't think we will at all. Champions League next year, we'll have made 2, 3, 4 big signings in the summer. I don't think we'll get embarrassed. I mean, look at the team. Most of the teams in the Champions League aren't exactly. Look at the Bayern got equally bullied by Man City as we did. So I don't think we're going to get embarrassed in the Champions League next season. Of course, that was one thing last night. We did make it into the champion. It was official last night that we are in the Champions League next season. Of course, one thing to bear in mind is that it's almost certain we're going to be in pot 3 in the Champions League next season, which means there's a good chance that we have 2 good teams in our group alongside us. We literally threw 3 cup competitions and still lost. Yeah, we did. He was asked on if he was tempted to change his approach going into the game. He said, we wanted to tweak a few things, but they were able to execute and scored an early goal. You have to understand where we're coming from. We have to be loyal to what has brought us all this way. We've done it in the past in different ways, and that doesn't guarantee you anything. It's time to look in the mirror at what we could have done better. I'm the first one, and go into the next game. Now that, when I saw that quote last night, I have to be honest, it annoyed me. Because I agree, when he says we have to be loyal to what's brought us all this way, I do agree to an extent. But Rob Holding did not bring us all this way. William Saliba did. So to stick with Rob Holding as if he's brought us this way, that's for me is just wrong. For me it's wrong. And look, I said yesterday, if we stuck with the same back four and we went in and we lost, I was going to be annoyed. And that is what happened. And it happened exactly in the manner that I thought it would. Some of the space that they were finding in behind Holding, shocking. Absolutely shocking. It didn't help that Gabriel, I thought, had a poor game as well. But we just should have changed something. We should have changed something. Worried about the Newcastle game? Look, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we went away to Newcastle and lost. Truthfully, as long as we beat Chelsea, I don't really care. What difference does it make what happens in the rest of the season now? It doesn't matter. It's as long as we beat Chelsea just for the pride. The other four games really don't matter that much. Chelsea will play like prime Barca against us. I don't think they will. They look absolutely awful. We have to put Partey on the bank. He does not do good the last three matches. I thought maybe we could have ended up playing Partey and Jorginho yesterday, double pivot in the same way that Man City did. Arteta was asked why the players failed to do the basics. He said, I prefer to keep that with my players. They were better in every department. They were more aggressive. They kept the ball better. They won every single duel. We had them in the corners, and from there, in two passes, they were in front of our goal. We conceded from a set play and a throw-in against us too easily. They deserved to win the game because they were better. And again, he's spot on. He was asked if the players froze. He said, I don't think they were scared, but the way we started the game didn't help at all because we put ourselves in trouble in many positions. We lost all the races. We lost all the first and second balls. That created an uncertainty. We could not grab the game the way we wanted to, and that's credit to them as well. And look, the Man City press was unbelievable. In the first half hour, the Man City press was unbelievable, and you have to give massive amounts of credit to that. But it did feel like we really panicked. Under that pressure, under that press, we panicked. And we weren't winning second balls. It would go long to Haaland. Rob Holding wouldn't beat Haaland at all. I don't think he genuinely won a single with him. And then the second ball, we wouldn't win either. It's just poor. It's really poor. On what the lesson from the defeat is, he said just to accept the reality. That's the best way to move forward. Accept that today they were better than us, that they deserve to win the game, that we never had a chance to win the game, and that we have to improve. Be better and be humble enough to accept that. In sport, you have to do that if you want to get better. I agree. There's no point. Yeah, I've seen some people talking about whether the offside was offside. Should Ruben Dias get sent off for kicking out at Ben White? Should we have had a penalty for the handball on Haaland? Even if all of them had gone in our favour, I still think we'd have lost. City took their foot off the gas at 3-0. So, there's no point making excuses. Just accept it. Disappointing it is that the team weren't at their best. He said very, but we knew we were going to need to be at our best as a team and individually. Individually, you have to be at your best, and you need 11 players to do that. Today, we were far from that. And finally, he was asked if we need to win all of our remaining games to have a chance of winning the title. He said, I don't know what's going to be required. For sure, we have to first lift the players up because they suffered tonight and it was a difficult one to swallow. We'll lift them up tomorrow and do everything we've done so well so far this season to earn the right to win the next game. And that's where we have to start right now. So, look, Arteta will feel just as down as the fans do, if not more, as will the players. There is a slightly worrying mental element, in terms of April last year, we collapsed and threw away top four. April this year, we've collapsed and thrown away the title. Yes, some of that comes with youth, and plenty of our players are young, and that will get better. The worrying thing for me last night was that when the chips were down, where were the senior players? Where were the leaders? Because we've praised the leadership of certain players this season. We've said that by having the likes of Jesus and Zinchenko and Granit Xhaka and Ødegaard, these senior players, Thomas Partey, who's played at the top level, that we've had this leadership. It disappeared last night. When the chips were down and people needed to stand up and be counted, no one was there. And that's worrying. If one person was still showing a bit of character, it was Aaron Ramsdale to keep us in the game. Even Rob Holding, it's just that's something where I think bringing in a Declan Rice, who is a leader, is important. Ødegaard ghosts in big games. Not all big games. He does have the problem is when the whole team suffers, Ødegaard looks like he really suffers. Nelson deserves a chance. He came on and actually showed some fight. I agree. That brings me on to something else I wanted to talk about, which was Smith Rowe, bringing him on at 3-0 down, 20 minutes to go. Why is he only coming on in a game like that? That's the sort of game where really bringing someone on at 3-0 down, you're throwing them under the bus. For Smith Rowe not to be coming on in previous games, but to come on in that one, I really do think he's done at Arsenal, which is just a massive shame because I absolutely love him. But I think he's done. And I also think Kieran Tierney's done. We've seen that the back four wasn't working game after game after game. It was getting worse and worse. You look at from when Saliba was out, first 2 games after he was out, we conceded 1 in each game. The next 2, we conceded twice in each game. The next game, we conceded 3. The next game, we conceded 4. Now, we're not going to concede 5 against Chelsea because I don't think Chelsea have scored sniff. So I think he's gone as well. I think they're the 2 big players that are leaving this summer. I think last night pretty much signed that off. And that's very sad. I love both of the players. Tierney should not be done. He is so much better at left back than Zinchenko. Zinchenko is not a fullback. He's a midfielder. I don't disagree, but obviously the way that, Zinchenko plays, the way he inverts. But again, Man City have been doing that with John Stones. John Stones have been playing a very similar role to Zinchenko over the last few games. He's been doing it exceptionally well, and yet, last night, he didn't do that. They played a normal back four. They played with a Kanji sat back, man marking Bukayo Saka. Frankly, he pocketed Bukayo Saka. And Kyle Walker did the exact same thing to Gabriel Martinelli. So there is an argument that in a game like that, we could have gone with the Tierney. Tierney and Smith Rowe, I was talking about. Sorry, yeah, Smith Rowe. I thought bringing him on, it was almost disrespectful to not bring him on. He's a player. He was our top scorer last year. Loads of goals off the bench. And we haven't been bringing him on in games, like Southampton. Disrespectful to the establishment? No. So, yeah, I think that's the case with them. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is this need for a different profile striker. Whether it's Ivan Toney, whether it's Rasmus Højlund. For me, it's not Vlahovic. I don't think that's the answer. But we need a different option. Because it cost us last night. Both at the Emirates and last night. And this will happen more in the Champions League against more teams that can play at that high level. You need a player that you can go long to without losing possession every time. Yeah, fine. You can go long to a big striker and maybe they'll only win it 70% of the time. But at least that 70% of the time you keep possession. We just don't have that option. And again, last night it killed us. Man City's press was so good and we just couldn't escape it at all. There was a 5-minute period in the first half where they had 91% possession. That's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Jesus is actually good for going long. Well, he's not awful for going long, but I mean, last night when we did go long, he didn't win a single ball, I don't think. So he can be good at backing into players all up, but you look at the difference between him and Haaland. I mean, I know Haaland is a freak, but I just can't help but think that we need that different option. You can't draw 3 games back to back and not change it up. I agree. And look, last night wasn't the game that we threw away the league. Last night wasn't the game that we bottled the league, if you have to insist on using that word. The 3 games before that were where we threw it away. We should have gone into that game in a position where even if we lost, we would still be top. We'd still be top even if Man City won their games in hand. And we didn't do that. We didn't do that. The games leading up to that cost us. Unfortunately, Jacquarel's time at the club has to be done. Nowhere near good enough to win a title. Some fans have to stop protecting him. Yeah, look, I do think Granit Xhaka had a great season. I think it was his best season at the club, but I do definitely think it's a position that we can upgrade on quite easily in the summer. Liverpool, I didn't mind. West Ham, I got curious, and Southampton gave up. Yeah, basically, Liverpool, I could accept. You can give excuses, the atmosphere, etc. West Ham was poor. Southampton was shocking. Why does Ben White think he's touching my star boy? Show the same attitude on the pitch. Who does Ben White think he is touching my star boy? Are you on about Phil Foden? Think the VAR decisions that were wrong against us will be the difference at the end, points-wise, versus Southampton, Brentford, and United? Yeah, maybe. To be honest, at this point, I could see us ending up 10 or 12 points behind Man City. So we need a new centre-back and a striker and Declan Rice. Yeah, I don't disagree. And probably a right-back option as well. And another centre-mid, really. Because I thought Partey looked really poor last night. Xhaka and Partey showed they still have that short fuse and will lose it when it doesn't go their way. Well, I don't think Partey has a short fuse, really. I thought actually it was a bit soft when he let bloody Jack Grealish grab him up like that. I thought it was soft that he didn't really react to it. I thought it was very soft. Have to get Rice and Caicedo. One isn't enough. I agree. We laugh at Weghorst, but he'd be more useful than Eddie. I don't know, because Weghorst isn't actually that good at holding the ball up. Ben White has a short fuse. Yeah, he does a little bit. I don't mind a short fuse at all. A reminder: if you're on TikTok, I do appreciate you. I'm live on YouTube. The link is in my bio to that. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. We are well on our way to it. We shouldn't pin the blame on VAR. City got done by them this season. That's the other thing, right? City probably should have beaten Man United at Old Trafford, and that crazy call on Rashford let Man United back into the game. So we need Ivan Toney. He's underrated. Yeah, the only thing hanging over Ivan Toney, of course, is the potential ban. Lacazette would be a better backup than Nketiah. Not for the future. Not for the future. Anyway, look, let's just forget all of the misery and get on to Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player. I give you their career path without the Arsenal part of it, and you have to guess who that Arsenal player is. Of course, the pride goes to the winner, the person who guesses it first in the YouTube chat. Yesterday, I think George Taylor, who's not here today by the looks, got both the Guess the Gooner and Guess the Non-Gooner. Phenomenal performance from him. But here we go. The Guess the Gooner. It's a short one. It's a short Guess the Gooner. Remember, this doesn't include the Arsenal part of their career. Bury FC to Bolton Wanderers. That is it. Bury FC to Bolton Wanderers. And SS9 is the person who got it first. Lots of people have got it on TikTok as well. Oh, George Taylor was here, but he was sleeping on it. SS9 has got it. It is indeed Rob Holding. And I thought, you know what? I'll get him in. I'll get him done on Guess the Gooner whilst he's still an Arsenal player. Because I do not think he will be after the summer. A tough night. A tough night for our Rob. Got the goal. I said if we got to 1,700 subscribers yesterday, Rob Holding would score in the 93rd minute. I wasn't that far away from being correct, old hairband Rob. But lucky I didn't win that. Don't want to remember winning this one. Yeah, it's one of the saddest ones. It's one of the saddest Guess the Gooners that we've had. And now time for Guess the Non-Gooner. So this is a player that never played at Arsenal. And it's their full career path. So this player started at CSKA Sofia. They went to Bayer Leverkusen, Tottenham, Manchester United. It's not Ryan Babel. It is indeed Dimitar Berbatov. Congratulations, Joe Madaford. You take the smaller amount of pride that comes with guessing the Non-Gooner. And there you go. It was indeed Dimitar Berbatov. What a player! What a player! I modelled my playing ability around Dimitar Berbatov. You know, don't move much, but unbelievable finishing ability. Thoughts on Rasmus Højlund? I want that lad. Yeah, I think Rasmus Højlund would be fantastic. Last night, I tell you one thing that it's putting me off is Vitor Roque, because that's just Gabriel Jesus again. I really do want a different profile. Matoma to come in the summer, I doubt it, truthfully. Then who would you like to have as a substitute for Zinchenko? I think that's a position we need to buy. I think that's a good point, actually. If we do get rid of Tierney, we need a backup left back. I love Højlund. Always sign him in Football Manager 23. Don't blame you. Watkins as a backup has been class for Villa. I'm not sure he's quite big enough. I'm not sure he's quite good enough at winning aerial battles and holding the ball up. Kivior can play right back. I mean, Kivior should certainly have played right centre back. Do you know? It was exactly what I thought, and exactly why I wanted to play Kivior yesterday. Rob Holding doesn't only lose the battle with Hart for the first goal. Rob Holding doesn't only lose the battle on the halfway line with Haaland, but he then gets nowhere near catching up with De Bruyne when he's chasing back. And I think Kivior would have done. As much as I hated that result, Holding just can't defend. I agree. I went to the pub last night just to watch the Arsenal fans cry into their pints. Sounds like a fantastic use of your time. I'm sure everyone at the pub thought you were a top lad. We need to start Trossard, Jorginho versus Chelsea. I don't disagree. Mixed feelings, to be honest. Very happy with our season, but so sad we bottled it on the big stage. That's the thing. It's right now, of course, it's just misery, right? But overall, we massively outperformed what we thought we were capable of this season. It's been an amazing season. I'm proud of the team. Arteta maintained throughout the season that we were only at phase 3 and that this is a 5-phase process. With big signings in the summer, added to, this squad with more experience, I really do think we can go a long way next season. It's certainly not over, but it is just a very, sad and somber time at the moment. Do you think we can make major signings? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we can make major signings. Arsenal are almost in the perfect position to make major signings right now because we've got Champions League football. We've been in a title race. We have been. People forget, up until halftime, up until we conceded against Liverpool. So even when we were 2-0 up against Liverpool, up until that point, people couldn't talk highly enough of this Arsenal team. And people very quickly forget that. But people couldn't talk highly enough of the team. We've come a long way. It's a young squad. All of the players talk about how amazing it is to work under Arteta. We're in the Champions League. We're going to have a big budget. But crucially, and this is where I actually think we're almost at more of the benefits than say, a City, is that there are clearly positions in the Arsenal team that you can upgrade on. And so if you're going for a Declan Rice, if you're going for a Rasmus Højlund, if you're basically, you can look at players that if they were going to go to maybe a Man City, they'd think, am I going to get into the team? Whereas, a Declan Rice will look at the Arsenal team last night and go, I'll walk into that team, which is a big benefit for us. So, I think we'll have a big summer. Saliba misses the first 2 months of next season, but he returns now and we win the league. Would you take it? Yeah, I mean, I would. Because there's no guarantee that him being fit for the first 2 months of next season gets us to win anything. We have a summer budget plus that 80 million extra from Mudryk. Look, our budget, right? A lot more money for finishing second in the Premier League. A lot more money for qualifying for the Champions League. The money that we didn't spend in January that we were ready to spend. Sales of players. If we sell Tierney, Smith Rowe, Nuno Tavares, Sambi Lokonga, we can easily generate £100 million worth of player sales. We can spend a lot of money in the summer. We can, and we're in the perfect place to do it. So, we shouldn't. Yeah, Balogun's another one. Don't you think Jesus would be annoyed if he became our second striker? But I don't think you necessarily have to have a first choice striker and a second choice striker. I think you can have games where you go, all right, against Man City, you play the big striker that can hold the ball up, that can alleviate the pressure. You're playing against the team that plays a really low block and you need to find someone who can find a way through them. You bring in Gabriel Jesus. I think, you've got to have the options available. It's as simple as that. Why did Arsenal think Jesus was so clinical? I don't think any Arsenal fan has ever thought that Jesus was really clinical, but he creates a lot of chances for himself so that he scores quite a few goals. To be fair, Akanji was unreal. Yeah, Akanji was absolutely excellent. Akanji was excellent. We shouldn't blame Holding for everything because the whole team was not good yesterday. I agree, but look, there's a clear pattern of players around Holding having worse performances when he's in the team. There's no such thing as a second and first player when you're in 4 different competitions. Exactly, exactly. The workload that Jesus has is phenomenal, and his hold-up play is great. It is. Where does Holding go in the summer? I think Holding could go into, a bottom half Premier League team. Sorry, I think he could go to a Bournemouth. But that says a lot, right? Is that when we actually look, where could Rob Holding go and get game time? Not in the top half of the table. So to have him trying to compete against the best team in the world, probably in a title decider, is rough. It's not what you want. I think Holding should stay as a 4th/5th choice centre back. No, but you've got to bear in mind, right? You've got to bear in mind that Tomiyasu/Ben White is option. Yeah, Kivior is option 1 for Gabriel. The option for Saliba, option 1 is either Ben White or Tomiyasu, depending on who you want to play at right back. Once Tomiyasu is fit. If you're then bringing in another centre back this summer, which I think we all think we should, at that point, Holding is effectively like your 6th choice centre back. So look, I think it's time for him to go. Holding is our version of Nat Phillips. Mate, he's our version of Harry Maguire. It's really close between Foden and Saka. Yeah, I think they're 2 different players, to be fair. Might as well rename him Everton. That's the club he's destined to play for. Yeah, and Everton is the exact sort of club that I'd expect him to play for. You think we get rid of Tomiyasu as he's very injury prone? It's a tricky one. The thing is that this injury's, he's had muscular injuries, right? Which can be problematic because they're recurring. This injury that he's got now was just a complete freak. He stretched at a really awkward angle, basically did the splits, and a knee ligament went. That's just really unfortunate. Might be easy to finally get a ticket now. Fake fans will die down. Well, I mean, look, so I think 3 weeks ago, I offered someone 300 quid for a Wolves ticket. He'd bought his Wolves ticket for £10.40 as a junior gunner. I offered him 300 quid. He wanted 900 quid. I would imagine he'd bite my hand off for the 300 quid now. So there's lots of people in that position. I think everyone's been a bit harsh on Holding. Haaland is a monster. But the problem is Saliba handled Haaland really well at the Emirates. Saliba actually did a very, very good job on Haaland at the Emirates. So you should turn on YouTube members. I can't turn on YouTube members until I am monetized, and I need to get to 4,000 watch hours to do that, unfortunately. But look, that is going to be the end of the YouTube video. Please do subscribe if you're new. We are on the way to 2,000 subscribers. If you're on TikTok, please do click the link in my bio to head over to YouTube. Drop a subscription as well. Look, it's a tough time. It's a sad time. We've got to get back on our feet from it. Take a few days, lick our wounds, and get back to it. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. There's more Premier League football to watch today. Take our minds off it. Hopefully Tottenham get battered. And yeah, have a good evening, and I'll be back same time tomorrow. Goodbye.